This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Shaun Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pitstop, where you, the pit crew, are the real star of today's show. Happy Monday to everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. I had a great weekend. Got to do a ton of racing this weekend, which is always fun. I watched a little bit of racing, which always enhances my sim racing life as well. And all in all, has me bright and smiley on a Monday morning. Not a whole lot of sim racing news going on today, so I got to just kind of slow it down. We're not on any kind of hurry today. Amir's asking me to take an entire hour. That's going to be kind of difficult with the amount of news there is today, admittedly. So if there's anything on your guys' mind, I'm always interested to hear what you want to talk about in the world of sim racing. If there's any stories you think we should talk about or any topics of discussion, we can take any kind of diversion that we want today. So feel free to jump into the chat. Let me know what's on your mind. Let me know what you've been racing, what's hot in the world of sim racing in your world. I'll get into the news and talk about a few things. A lot of them we've actually talked about already. So let's start with rFactor 2, the 24-hour Lamar race, July 6th. Are you ready for some great competition? Sign up now for our official 24-hour Lamar, featuring cool prizes and well-known drivers. Take part in one of the biggest races of the year. Qual races begin soon, so go here and register your team. And then if we follow that link, it takes us here. I got stuff on your mind. Look out, bro. Okay, Stevie. Yeah, that's not Stevie Dager Jr., is it? I saw a cool picture of you on a BMX bike in black and white, old school, the other day on your Facebook page, if that's you, Steve. I didn't know you went by Stevie. Or are there two Stevie D's now? Let's see here. So, looks like drivers are showing up with 5 drivers for the most part. And we have some early entries into this going on right now. And if you want to list your name, your team, you just go over there, follow that link from their Twitter page. It'll take you to what has become, 4 pages now? 4 pages of team drivers. RSR Oreca 07, that's the car they're going to drive. A lot of people picking the Oreca. It's you! What's up, Stevie? Some Stevens would be offended by being called Stevie, so I'm proud to see you embrace that. No problem there. Let's see here. Work at work. That's how I feel like I'm always at. I'm fun at work. Work at work. Mitchie will probably be running in it. Yeah, I don't know. He's with a new team. I didn't get that announcement from him, but Mitchie is with a new team, no longer with Avid Chronic. All right, what else? We talked about last week the Logitech G Challenge, the Project Shadow Round 2, I guess we could call it, going on via Project Cars game, Project Cars Game 2, Project Cars 2. I used to rock the cradle to walk the dog back in the day. All right. Anyway, round 1 has already occurred. That happened over the weekend. That was qualifier number 1. Remember, they have like 8 or 9 rounds of qualifying before the final event. And the 2, wonder why this guy's grayed out. Why is the Zebra 94 grayed out? This is the USA qualifier results right there. So all that went on. So let's see. Driver 13. Look at these names. Dark King 12 and the Zebra were our big winners on the PlayStation. And the PC guys, apparently gamer tags are starting to take over. THR operator. THR. Look at that. THR racking up first and second place. Wild win. And Max A Power. Oh, I hate gamer tags. I think gamer tags are potentially one of the kisses of death for gaming. But maybe I'm an old dog. Maybe this is a new tricks thing. Maybe I gotta get used to. I grew up and, I wanted something like, my favorite, Steve Garvey. I wanted Garvey on the back of my Dodger jersey, for example. I didn't want, Limp Biscuit. I didn't want, Driver 13, Dark King 12, or the Zebra 94. I just don't really... I don't identify with gamer tags. It's hard to identify for me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is something, but will that play a factor? I mean, a big part of professional sports, when we talk about the bubble bursting in the esport world, part of professional sports is merchandising. You know, one of the reasons they make so much money, one of the reasons it's such a lucrative industry is because of the shoes, the jerseys, the you know, the endless amount of merchandise sold based on the players' names and our identifying with them. Bald Eagle 69, is that you, Michael? That could be me. I could be, well, Bald Eagle 68. Our league deducts points if you don't race under a real name. John, I appreciate that. I love that. I love that. Works for Ninja. Hey, Mitchie Hoyer, what's the name of your new team, and are you guys running in the rFactor 24-hour Lamar? Yeah, but Ninja, you know, that's a little bit different, I suppose. But yes, it certainly does work with Ninja. But that's one specific streamer. But very relevant, Jerry. I completely agree and give you that. Soon, Car Hero says, soon we'll stay at home and send our avatars out to the real world. Gamers tags rule. Yeah, that's a relevant point. I mean, we can all hide behind our avatars. We can all hide behind our gamer tags or usernames. And I suppose that's part of the beauty of the modern world. I mean, for me, I was always kind of a look in your eye and shake your hand kind of guy in my day. But anyway, yeah, and then you get the amount of illegal merchandising because it's so lucrative. What up? Stand on it. False identity leads to irresponsible driving. I completely agree. I completely agree with that. All right, what else do we have to talk about? Like I'm in a hurry. We have nowhere to go today. We have nothing to do and very little to talk about. Devin Booth, is there a link? Did you give me a link on Discord for where we would find that video you're referring to? I was trying to get a hold of you and get that. I have that towards the end of the show today. Welcome to the show, Devin Booth, one of our streamers, one of our good pit crew members. Okay, so Codys, they talked about road book. They're calling it a dirt road book. They talked about their version of the road books. Hey, Chris Phillips, how you doing, buddy? So here's their Codys blog, the dirt road book, talking about dirt. I guess there were some problems with the Latvia RX and not working with some of the downloads, uploads on the DLC. I guess they've resolved those issues. Things like that have been going on. And so anyway, here's their little place, and this is where you'd find all the information on what's going on with dirt, as we still are kind of waiting. I have to admit, I'm a little upset with dirt. I'm a little upset with Codemasters, to be honest with you. With the last time I tried to play Dirt Rally, my controls wouldn't work. Now we have F1 2019 about to come out. I haven't heard a single word of encouragement for those who use high-end peripherals and have had a hard time mapping things. I just wish Codemasters would get with the times and, you know, maybe they're an old dog, I guess, huh? Anyway, here's their grid road book for this week as well, which just came out yesterday, or no, 3 days ago. Sorry about that. Confirmed cars, more features, and their E3 roundup. And I think it's kind of funny that Codemaster, I guess I'm going to be on a little Codemasters rant for the day. Codemasters been like patting themselves on the back for their efforts at E3, where what did they do? They sent Lee Mathers to do like an interview somewhere. They had no booth. They had no presence. They didn't have their game anywhere to be found, to be driven, or to expose the world to sim racing. So anyway, here they're racing to E3 for what, an interview and no gameplay, nothing for us to do with it. Okay, that's, you know, you're only one of the big players in the gaming industry, but you don't have a booth at E3. Waiter. Steve Dager would like to have premium members, physical membership card for people to hold. Premium membership to what, Steven? Joke Masters. just checking with your guys' chat. You guys keep me quite entertained. Codys did have some new screenshots, so these just came out. New screenshots of F1 2019 coming very, very soon. Any day now, right? I should probably contact them and try to get a copy, but probably wouldn't work with my controls anyway, so I'd have to play it with a gamepad. Anyway, screenshots look beautiful. The graphics on F1 2019 do look incredible. Other things that are very important, we talk about the Madden-esque titles, and at this point, you know, you want to have the right drivers, right liveries, right branding of the tracks, and that should get us up to speed with them. Haven't heard any of that news I'm hoping for, game-changing news, like, oh, this is the one, you know, kind of thing. Like, F1 2018 was a pretty good effort. It got them right back on the right path with some of the old problems. Yeah, that's no surprise, Tim. Invader says he wishes sim racing had more of a presence at E3. Yeah, but the general public, that is so valid. Invader says that he wishes sim racing had more of a presence at E3. However, the general public doesn't really enjoy sim racing. I mean, there's a reason we're this micro niche of the gaming market. But I also kind of believe that when the games are right, it's about presenting it to the people. But then again, I can pull up the picture of the Wreckfest booth, which is quite a fun game, and they had the controllers set up where anyone could do it. And what do you know? People are not playing it. All right, what else? What else to talk about? Raceroom, we talked about Nurburgring was the place to be this weekend. You had all sorts of real-life racing. You had the Raceroom, big race going on. You had the GT, Sport, big events going on. Anybody in Germany should have been over there, really. Yeah, David Hotzel, I don't know why I didn't get a copy. I'm assuming those people reached out to Codemasters to get it. I don't know. But I don't know. That's part of the problem with the Simpit is that for some reason I'm not getting the emails from Codemasters saying, hey, new copy, would you like it? But then again, right now I haven't had much kind words to say for Codemasters. One has nothing to do with the other, by the way. But maybe it's that. I mean, I haven't been shy about, you know, hitting them where it hurts. So whatever. I'll contact them immediately following the show and see what we can do. At the same time, I'm getting more and more to the point now where the industry is changing, and I'm getting closer to where I just want to hit. Yeah, Mitchie, I've been at that number forever, though. I mean, literally, I've been just shy of 40,000 for forever, and I could go on and on and on about that as well. Yes, F1 2019 will run on the PC, but I'm getting closer to certain titles, certain games, certain companies. I would rather purchase the product and be able to say what I want, even if it means a somewhat delayed review, versus play some game of, oh, I have to be kind because they gave me a pre-release version. That's kind of where I'm feeling it. I can name a few products. But anyway, back to Raceroom at the Raceroom Cafe, Nurburgring. They had a race, sim racers against pro racers. Moritz Lohner, Tim Jarshell, Esteban Guri are featured in these photos here going on. And still talk about the Roman Dumas VW. I'd like to give that another attack, actually. In addition to that, Gran Turismo also, we talked, Billy and I mentioned this Friday, all that was going on. They showed all the photos, the guys getting their hotel rooms. They showed the guys getting on and off the bus, showing up to the venue for the first time. This was probably the bigger of the two shows. And the grand results, Igor Fraga claims victory once again in the Nations Cup. He automatically qualifies for the World Finals. In addition, they have, look at I just don't like that they race those goofy cars. What do you guys, how do you feel about those goofy cars that they run in this event? I mean, does that do anything for you? For me, it's a big bummer, I have to admit. It's a giant bummer. Whoops. I'm adding a screen to my everything here. Sorry about that. Here we were. So there's Igor Fraga winning. And congratulations to them. Some of the on-track events with the guys. You know, if you've never been to a real racetrack, maybe one that means a lot to you, and been able to actually walk out on the racing surface, it's quite a trip. If you've watched a lot of races, you know, like I vividly remember the first time I went to Daytona as a VIP and being able to walk up onto the banking. You know, and a lot of people autograph, like the start-finish line is a big thing. Things like that. It's really something, though. If you've been a fan of racing all your life, sometimes when you get a pit pass before the race, they have that area opened up and you can walk out, and it's really something. It's really something doing that and being there. Anyway, all right, so that's what else is going on. More stuff going from that. So those two events both happened over the weekend. Forza is talking about this week in Forza. I like to mention that on Monday. If you're a Forza head, find out about various things going on both Horizon 4. They talk about the Lamar eSport Super Final, which we talked about. They talk about the Lego, which we talk about. And I got to admit, I almost bought the Lego mod on Sunday. I was this close. I had a few other things that I wanted to do, so I didn't do it. But I was this close to buying the Lego mod. I was inspired and just felt like it would be kind of fun. Yeah, it's just a silly car. There are so many beautiful, incredible cars to pick from in Gran Turismo GT Sport that I don't quite understand doing that. And to an extent, it kind of cheapens the message to the public, in my opinion. You know, I don't want them to... But maybe that's what they're going for. Maybe that's the whole reason. Maybe it needs to look spacey and futuristic because they feel that that's, you know, we talked about the general public not being ready for sim racing. And maybe that is the magic. Maybe it's making it look futuristic or Star Wars-ish that allows the regular people to be entertained. The racing purist at heart, I think all have a distaste for it, though. It just isn't the way it should be. Needs to put squeaker mod on. Anyway, okay, so that's all that's going on at Forza. In addition, they always, on Monday, release their calendar of all the streams for the entire week. So if you want some Forza stuff, there you go. What else? Oh, where's my Venture Beat? What was this article? There we go. Short on news, so I just mentioned this. Normally I wouldn't. Touring carts, never even heard of it. Brings an eccentric mix of weapons and drinks to VR racing. Come on, my story's hosed. I can't even tell you what it's all about. I thought that was entertaining. Drinks. What do they mean by drinks? Can I be Lego Darth Vader driving the F40 Lego car? I don't know if you can be Darth Vader. I don't know. I didn't buy it. I thought about it. All right, looks like this article is not going to cooperate today, so moving right along. Another look. So this is Seeking Alpha. I don't know who they were. Thawman sent this in, and so I definitely wanted to talk about it. But it's a breakdown on the eSport trend and the main companies involved. eSport is a form of competition using online video games. The global eSports industry is set to grow rapidly, so they're still predicting growth, at least from this guy's perspective. An introductory look to the main companies and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, then he goes down, and this is what I found fascinating. So right now, this is from Statistica. This is the speculated growth of esports. So right now, sitting here in 2019, they're calling it $1 billion industry, 1.096. And they're giving it an expansion rate of nearly doubling, being up to 1.79 billion by 2022. So this is the growth curve that they're talking about esport being on. When we talk about sim racing being a micro niche, but as Billy and I have talked about, maybe we are an upgraded micro niche, because yes, we are a micro niche of gaming, but we have such a better relationship with our sponsors than the world of gaming for the most part. Or secondary reasoning for companies, automotive companies, racing series to be involved in our esport versus I'm not 100% sure the NBA really needs to be involved in the NBA esport. I'm sure they will be because it's more like a greed factor there. Like, hey, that's a piece of our pie, so we're going to go take it. But anyway, look at the hours watched. Top 5 esport games by esport hours watched on Twitch in 2017. League of Legends, 274.7 million hours were watched. 274 million hours. Counter-Strike, 232. Dota, 218 nearly. Hearthstone, 78.7. Overwatch, 25. Fascinating. That is, again, when you hear people make statements like gaming has gotten bigger than the movie industry, these are the stats that are starting to prove that point. Anyway, I found that a little bit fascinating. Driving Italia has a write-up on the Porsche eSport Carrera Cup Italia, and honoring the winners there. We have a little podium shot of our winners, who are David Toniza. He triumphed at Imola in race 1, and 4th place in race 2. John Alacy, he's a driver of John Alacy Esport Academy. Oh, I'm sorry, the driver from the John Alacy Esport Academy won 2nd round. Ahead of Danilo Santoro and Amos Laredo. I know Amos Laredo's name. He's one of the top. Anyway, sorry, I kind of made a mess of that trying to read the way they wrote this. But anyway, congratulations to these guys. And another one of those cool rigs. Look at these Porsche rigs. Talk about nice Porsche branding. I've seen these rigs before. It's because movies are kind of trash now. Trying to catch up with some of you guys' chat. I'm a little behind on that. Last big tournament prize for Dota was $26 million. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Who would have imagined, I should say. All right, what else? Couple rigs to talk about. Oh, come on. What happened to my browser today? Things been working well. Today something went a little haywire. All right, let's see if this one. All right. His brother needed a setup so he could tear it down, store it behind his couch. This worked so well, he made one for himself. Look at this rig. They're using like slots and crisscross. Like, you ever get a box of glasses and they have that it'll fold flat, that divider made out of cardboard, corrugated, and it'll go like that, and it'll make like a grid to hold all the cups in. It's sort of the same mentality. Like you have the two length ones with some slots going this way, some cross beams with some slots going that way so that they lock together. So this whole rig would actually come apart. It might have a touch of wiggle to it, but I'm assuming using a Logitech wheel. It looks like on a console system. It's probably within reason. Not bad. And a little plastic buggy, dune buggy seat. I call those dune buggy seats, which are very cheap if you ever got one off of like Summit Racing. So that's cheap, it's going to work, and it completely goes away. And maybe that gives you guys an idea of something you can do yourself. And this one is still just not going to cooperate. Let's try something else real quick. Let's try to do this and see what happens. There we go. There we go. This was spotted at someone's local mall. So this is Rubicon. Not sure where this was. You know, that's a funny thing about Reddit. I'm not a huge fan of Reddit, but God forbid we get a little more information on it. But that is a next level GT track. Nice triple screen setup at a mall. You can see the containment rope holding this little kid back from jumping in there. But maybe we'll start seeing more of that. We talk about sim centers. Maybe you're going to see more use, you know, the mall, the movie theater. These places are not what they used to be. You might start seeing this in more places than you ever imagined as people are looking for that bang for the buck, dollar per square foot for entertainment in certain venues like malls, movie theaters, and things like that. Should I send a picture of my rig on a pallet to Shaun? Yes, I love seeing what people have done with rigs. Yes, Car Heroes, I totally saw those same rigs. Yes, they're running Project Cars at the Chainsmokers concert. All right, what else? What else do we have? This one. I just, it's not so much the rig, although I do see that he has some flight controls as well. How many of you guys do flight sim? How many of you guys convert your sim rig to a flight rig, and how long does it take? But more importantly, I love the post that came along with this from Fusion5156. First thing I did after moving to another house. How many of you are like that? Way back when, it was my television. Way back when I moved, it was the TV. It was the first thing we got set up and running, and going. In the modern era, sitting here in 2019, I moved houses. First thing up and running is my sim rig. Sure enough, same thing for this guy. Runs in VR, so he's good to go. Pull his little desk chair up to that, and he is up and running. What else? Tonight, Mazda Monday. Devin Booth is always running Mazda Mondays. He streams the races. He did some upgrades to increase the quality of the stream, but you're going to want to find him and find the guys on our Discord channel. You can find Devin through Logically Gaming or Devin Booth on YouTube or on Twitch. And he did send me a video from last week, so kind of new to Brands Hatch. Mazda Monday Season 3 Week 1 with Booth. So this is a shot of, there's Devin with his green screen effect, and showing the guys off racing. A little recap of last week's fun. You can join him tonight and get out there and have some fun. Beyond that, I mentioned at the beginning of the show that I've done quite a bit of driving over the weekend, and it all started on Friday night with the 6 hours of the Glen. So this is a really big week for me and the pit crew and the Simpit Ricmo Tech Endurance team as we went back to the Daytona prototype. So this weekend, 6 hours of the Glen, and we ran the Friday night race, which is the lesser of the picked events, but it was the one that worked for all of our schedules. But Stand On It, Moses Choi, and I shared a Daytona prototype, and I wanted to tell you, Stand On It and Moses did such a fantastic job. I didn't get into the car until almost the 4-hour mark, and there was not a scratch on the car when it had been handed over to me. We ran in the top 5. We started way back of that, but we ran in the top 5 virtually all night, and at the end of the 24 hours, and after an incredible run by Stand On It, Moses Choi, and I held my own, we finished second place overall, second place in class. And it was a lot of fun. With it being a 6-hour race, it's like a sprint of the endurance races. Yes, it's very much an endurance race, but at 6 hours, you can almost be there from start to finish, versus at 24, you're going to have to fade away. It was really fun hanging out with Stan and Moses, handing off spotter duties, handing off eating and resting and showering duties, and just making sure that we were always covered, always had a game plan. And we made a game plan before the race, and we stuck to it. And at the end of 6 hours, we were actually within 2 minutes of what we had predicted our outcome to be, which is really, really well done. That was mainly Stan's ability to watch a stop clock and do some math. But he nailed it, and we had a really fun drive. And it was the first step of redemption, because if any of you remember, last January, we ran the Daytona 24 and had a little incident and got some horrible damage that ruined the race for us. And we all swore that we would never, ever, ever run the Daytona prototype again. But it is one of my favorite cars, and Stan started Redemption Daytona prototype, and it worked out great. Finished second, and this is all in preparation of running that car once again. Really gearing up for Redemption at Daytona, to be honest with you. So we're still a long way away from us. In addition to that, Saturday morning, I should say, the pit crew, the Simpit Ricmo Tech Endurance team, also ran in the GT class. Amir Assad, Shaun Sebran, and Chris Phillips. Chris Phillips, who's still fairly new to sim racing, honestly, on like 1 day notice, jumped into the car to fill in as the third driver, and that team brought home a 4th place in a 50-car GTE grid. So there were no Daytona prototypes, no GT3s. It was all GTE cars, which means the biggest field of GTE cars I think I've ever heard of, 50 of them at Watkins Glen. And amongst that mayhem, these guys jumped up like 13 spots or something to finish 4th in class at the end of 6 hours. Really, really well done. I'm really proud of Amir, Shaun, Sebran and Chris Phillips and Amir, I want to thank you for heading the endurance team effort for the last few races. I really appreciate all the work that you put in. And then lastly, I am going to finish with a tease. So what am I working on today? Well, E3 went on, and one of the things that I have talked about is the next level platform, motion platform that they have. The traction plus motion is what they call it. Sorry about that. I had a little brain fart. You're now seeing it in action. This is holding the front and rear. That's the front up there. We were looking at the rear before. The entire rig up in the air. And you can see the rig is moving and pivoting. On top of that, they have their motion seat that I've reviewed. I've got one sitting right there. I love that thing, the motion platform seat, and the whole thing together. So I have an update of everything that Next Level Racing brought to E3 in a recap video about 10 minutes long that'll be coming out today for sure. So a little teaser because I've talked about it, but I haven't shown it in action. But that is the Traction Loss Plus, which is quite the device, and that'll be coming out today. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you get a notification of when that video comes out, which will be at some point today. Be sure to thumbs up this show if you've enjoyed it, and of course tell a friend so we can finally get to that 40,000 subscriber number. I can't believe it has taken so long to get to 40,000. It's not that I've taken this long to get that much. That 39.9 to 40,000 has been a very, very brutal wait. So help me cross the finish line, and then we can take things to a whole new level and start looking for more and more. And I'll contact Codemasters, see if we can get a copy of F1 2019. And yeah, thanks Codemasters for keeping me on the list. That's going to do it for today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the pit crew and hanging out to talk about sim racing each and every day. This is the Simpit. I'm Shaun Cole, and I'll see you on the track.